2023's latest Indonesian horror film Khanzab strikes with thrills. The film combines black witchcraft with an intense atmosphere of numerous horror elements. Hurry and call your friends to watch together. The story begins with Rahayu praying when suddenly a figure in black appears behind her, followed by her father's screams from outside. Rahayu quickly sheds her white robe to investigate and sees her father being beaten by two people in black. The figure in black covers Rahayu's mouth and nose. Semedi saw this and immediately grabbed the black man's knife and directly cut his own neck. Rahayu bites the figure fiercely but is struck by a blade. In front of Rahayu, the figure in black beheads her father and places his head on the door of Rahayu's house. The dead soul guard is the most vicious curse in Indonesian folklore, signaling that Rahayu's family will be accompanied by death until they are destroyed. Villagers, fearing the curse, block Rahayu's house, demanding they leave the village. Distraught, Rahayu visits her father's regular prayer room and dons a white robe to pray. However, the light in the prayer room flickers and goes out. Suddenly, two evil spirits appear behind Rahayu. Feeling a chill on her back, Rahayu speeds up her prayers, attracting even more spirits. They mimic Rahayu's movements, praying and kneeling alongside her. Hearing the evil spirits praying, Rahayu turned back to look, but there was nothing behind him. Then, in the next second, overwhelmed with fear, Rahayu suddenly recalls something from her childhood. At 8 years old, Semedi took in a body said to be possessed and impossible to bury properly. Semedi chanted spells over the corpse. Then, green miasma emitted from the body, which Semedi absorbed, his eyes whitening and body shaking. Soon after, Semedi felt nauseous and vomited a green snake. The black snake inside the corpse was killed by the green snake, expelling the evil from the body. But as Semedi was busy, the green snake crawled towards Rahayu. In Semedi's hands, the snake turned into a snake-headed staff. Terrified, Rahayu turned and ran, awakening these childhood memories. Rahayu realizes her father has been using black witchcraft from early on, calling evil spirits with just a few prayers. Semedi's death might not be as simple as it seems. Rahayu quickly leaves the prayer room. The next day, Rahayu goes to work at a clothing store. Due to her knack for attracting business, the neighboring shop owner, eerie, suspects Rahayu of using witchcraft. Hearing this, customers flee in fear. Seeing this tactic work, eerie becomes more aggressive. If it weren't for someone pulling Rahayu away in time, eerie would have been strangled. Regaining consciousness, Rahayu feels guilty and scared. She goes to the prayer room to seek forgiveness from the Almighty. At that moment, a man is praying in the room, feeling an increasing weight on his back, pressing him to the ground. Rahayu sees a little demon sitting on the man but rubs her eyes in disbelief and looks again. Seeing the man unharmed, Rahayu breathes a sigh of relief, thinking it was just her imagination. After the man leaves, Rahayu goes in to pray, but the window of the prayer room quietly closes. Rahayu was praying when a pair of rotting feet appeared in front of her eyes, and she closed her eyes tightly in fear and prayed for Allah's blessings, thinking that spitting can ward off evil. Rahayu quickly gathers saliva and spits 3 times. An eerie silence surrounds her. Believing the evil spirit has retreated, she opens her eyes. Startled, she pulls off her white robe, and the evil spirit disappears. But then, she hears noises from the inner room. Walking in, she sees a man lying on the ground. Her father, using his methods, summons a group of evil spirits who pinch off the man's pustules with their bare hands. Then, after amassing a handful of pustules, her father suddenly says. Rahayu is startled,
Rahayu, buang!
But soon realizes all she's witnessing is her childhood memory. After Semedi fed the source to young Rahayu, Rahayu's eyes rolled back in white and she was twisting in pain. Semedi had been grooming Rahayu as the next generation of witch since she was young, but what he didn't expect was that young Rahayu couldn't master the evil forces as he did. To cure villagers' illnesses and avert disasters, to prevent Rahayu from being consumed by the backlash, Semedi quickly prays to expel the evil spirits from her. But years after Semedi's death, the evil spirits immediately sought out Rahayu. Terrified, Rahayu runs home, but Riri, who she had a conflict with earlier that day, is now leading her mother, Bumaina, to seek justice from Nuning. Bumaina bombards Rahayu's mother with questions, her spit flying. Having witnessed Rahayu's terror, Riri tries to pull Bumaina away, but she persists. Rahayu humbly apologizes, explaining she was possessed by an evil spirit during the day and couldn't control herself, hoping Bumaina would forgive her. But Bumaina curses Rahayu. After fully cursing Rahayu, Bumaina leaves satisfied, unaware that misfortune is about to descend. After the villagers disperse, Rahayu goes to the prayer room again. They are always subject to others' harassment, and Rahayu's heart is filled with resentment. For once, Rahayu was no longer afraid, and if she had indeed inherited her father's sorcery, then give her some insight into dealing with the predicament at hand. Soon, the curtain before Rahayu moves. She crawls over only to witness a horrifying scene. Scared, she quickly removes her white robe and runs out. But then, countless evil spirits emerge from the prayer room, trying to invade Rahayu's body. Terrified, she flees and goes to work at the clothing store, but unwittingly falls asleep. Upon waking, Rahayu feels nauseous, something wriggling in her stomach. Just then, Bumaina, who caused trouble the previous night, appears. Seeing Nooning shopping, she subjects her to various humiliations. Rahayu glares back in anger, and a snake emerges from her body, heading towards Bumaina. Bumaina's legs are bitten full of holes, and people rush to carry her home. But at night, countless crows suddenly swarm the village, and Rahayu's eyes turn involuntarily black. Then, a snake slithers into Bumaina's house, coiling around her body. Bumaina's legs are too rotten to move, and she can only watch the snake approach. When Riri arrives, Bumaina is already dead. The villagers blame Nooning for Bumaina's death, unanimously believing she used black witchcraft to kill Bumaina from a distance. Although the speculation is reasonable, there's no evidence, and Nooning refuses to accept it. In order to calm down the villagers' anger, the village had suggested Nooning to go to the mosque to be examined by Allah. If Nooning had used black magic, Allah would trap her soul so that she would never leave hell. Nooning agreed, and then she drank a glass of holy water and lay down on a white cloth. The villagers wrapped Nooning in the cloth, leaving only her face exposed. But as soon as Nooning finished speaking, her eyes closed and her soul went to hell. Nooning didn't know what was going on, so she went inside, only to see evil spirits. These spirits once endowed Semedi with evil powers, but now they chase after Nooning, demanding repayment. Terrified, Nooning runs desperately but can't find the way out. Meanwhile, Rahayu also arrives at the prayer room and summons a group of evil spirits through her continuous prayers. Whatever Rahayu does, the evil spirits mimic. The evil spirits summoned by Rahayu push Nooning's soul out of hell. The villagers are startled to see Nooning wake up, as she had just been breathless and without a heartbeat. However, the revived Nooning is dazed, unable to forget the fear of being trapped in hell and the shock of seeing her daughter commanding evil spirits there. Planning to sell the property left by her husband and leave to avoid further haunting, Nooning decides to move. Rahayu disagrees and tries to persuade Nooning, her voice suddenly becoming sharp. Rahayu realizes, upon awakening, that as she commanded the evil spirits, they too were controlling her, making her utter harmful words towards her mother. Reflecting on this, Rahayu breaks down in tears, but then, a severed head rolls towards her. It's the head of the person who beheaded her father. The evil spirits had taken revenge on her behalf, but such brutal methods weren't Rahayu's true intention. Once involved with evil spirits, things were beyond her control. Having absorbed the deathly force, Rahayu soon vomits a snake. Due to the day's argument, Rahayu harbors resentment towards Nooning, and the evil spirits, sensing her emotions, transform into a snake and enter Nooning's room. Shortly after, Rahayu's brother comes in looking for his mom, but Nooning sees a snake on his son. Nooning grabs the snake and slams it on the ground, attempting to kill it. At that moment, Rahayu regains consciousness and rushes to Nooning's room, but Nooning can't stop until she kills the snake, only then realizing her son is bloodied against the wall. Crawling over, she finds her son breathless. She had been attacking not a snake but her son. Heartbroken, Nooning hangs herself. This fulfills the curse. Rahayu's family is indeed destroyed. After the funeral of Nooning and Ajik, Mbas Sarwo took Rahayu to live with him, but that night, Ajik's ghost appears, whispering repeatedly to Buajang. Buajang realizes the matter isn't over. The next day, Mbas Sarwo hurries to the prayer room to retrieve Semedi's snake-headed staff. The snakes are manifestations of evil spirits, feeding on human pain and regret, and easily corrupting sensitive girls to harm those around them. Mbas Sarwo seals and buries the staff and then begins to purify Rahayu. Then, supported by evil forces, Rahayu levitates, her mouth wide, absorbing the pain of those around her. Among these people, Mbas Sarwo's regret is the greatest. Pak Suntat, envious of Rahayu's father's witchcraft and his ability to control evil spirits and avert disasters for the villagers, cruelly attempts to steal the snake-headed staff. Sensing his intentions, Rahayu's father commits suicide to prevent Pak Suntat from going astray. but the heartless Khanzab still beheads Rahayu's father, cursing her entire family to death. Facing his own son, Sarwa was unable to decide, leading to further deaths. Upon hearing this, Rahayu was furious, considering covering up evil as an evil act itself. Then, Rahayu feeds her hatred to Khanzab and manipulates his consciousness to make him kill Sarwa. Looking at the grieving Buajeng, Rahayu absorbed another wave of power. Then she grabbed Buajeng by the neck and tried to strangle her, but Buajeng, pressing her hand on Rahayu's head, recites a mysterious spell. Rahayu's head aches intensely, and she faints. When she wakes up again, she finally expels the evil air and completely breaks off from the evil spirits. But now, only Rahayu and Buajeng are left of their family. When people are bad, they are evil spirits under the sun. That's the story for today. See you next time.